family goes, oh, na, na, na. Oh, na, na, na.
Purchase your
Come kick it with the Casey's. All that love and all those babies. C-A-S-C-Y. Welcome to the light. Welcome. C-A-S-C-Y. DJ Envy and Gia, oh, oh. It's time to kick it with the Casey's. You're tuned into the Casey crew.
What up, y'all? It's DJ Envy.
And I am Gia Casey.
And this is another edition of the KC Crew.
Welcome. Hello, beautiful people.
And I got to remind you guys that our car show is August 17th at the Meadowlands Expo Center in New Jersey. It's indoors, it's outdoors, all types of cars from old school to exotics to American muscle to celebrity cars like Cardi B's going to have her car there, Offset, A Boogie, French Montana, 50, Cash Cobain, just to name a few. So get your tickets. It's going to be a family fun day. Music, it's going to be a vibe, right? We're going to have jumpies, rides, face painting, so many different things, food trucks. So kids 5 and under are free and parking is free. Just think about it like this. Where could you go right now to take your kids and have all these cool different things for under $40? Nowhere. So make sure you come on out. And if you got a young kid, we're cutting kids' hair for free. And also it is about around the same time about back to school. So we're going to have backpacks to give away to the kids. You know, we just do this each and every year. And it's just kind of like a big family reunion. So we can't wait to see you guys. And if you want to put your car, your bike, your truck in the car show, or you want to be a vendor or a food truck, you should email me at djnvcarshow@gmail.com. And we can't wait to see you. And when you get your tickets, do a little video and I'll post it on my IG story. So I appreciate all the support.
Yes.
All right. Now, before we left off the last podcast, I was reading this email. So let me go back to reading it. Usually we do a topic, but this, I left with this email. I thought it was very interesting. And if you're just joining us, I just teased this email the last podcast.
I don't even remember. Did you read the whole email?
No, just a little bit.
You just read a little bit of it.
Just a little bit. Yeah. Hey, this originally was sent to Gia via DM. Is this the right one? No. Sorry. It's not the right one. This is it. Sorry. First, let me say I'm a huge fan of you both and the podcast. I watch and listen every week, and I look forward to every new episode. Sorry, Envy, this is long.
Thank you.
But Gia likes details.
I do.
I ask that you keep my name anonymous because my husband sometimes listens to the podcast with me, and here's my situation. We have a 16, almost 17-year-old daughter. She has her first best friend who she is in a long-distance relationship with.
Her first best friend?
She said she has her first boyfriend who she is in a long-distance relationship with. They met online and have never met in person and only talk on the phone. She introduced me to him via FaceTime about a month ago, and I thought he was a sweet young man. They're both inexperienced and have never even kissed anyone before. He started to send her a few gifts in the mail, which have been cute and thoughtful, and I've been supportive of her having her first relationship. The other day, I walked into a room to chat with her, and as I was leaving out, I noticed something laying on her bed. It was the rose.
Dun, 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 dun.
I stopped dead in my tracks.
So ridiculous. I feel like this email was planted last week.
No, really not. I stopped dead in my tracks and immediately asked her where she got it from. She looked a little nervous and slightly embarrassed. She responded with her boyfriend's name. I don't want to say his name, she says. I was shocked, but I didn't get mad or raise my voice. I asked her if she used it, and if so, it's something that she does during FaceTime together. She told me no, she hasn't used it because she was scared.
It was in her bed. She's lying. Go ahead.
She told me.
Mine goes under the pillow.
She told me no, she hasn't used it because she was scared and wasn't quite sure what to do with it. I told her, let's pause here on the conversation and I'll be back to continue the conversation. I needed to process this, laugh out loud.
Smart.
One thing my husband and I have in common with the both of you is that we're very open with all of our children. We have very deep, honest conversations, and I've even talked with her about sex and her body a lot.
Can I pause you for a second?
Mm-hmm.
She said, don't mention her name because her husband watches this with her sometimes, and she doesn't want him to know that she's the one that wrote in. If he's watching this podcast, he knows because there's not too many people with this story.
But she probably didn't tell him about it yet. So let's finish. She might not have told him about it yet.
Uh-huh.
I later returned to her to finish our conversation and explained to her that she wasn't in trouble and that feeling sexual and being interested in pleasuring yourself, especially at their age, is normal. However, it's not something I want them to do together via FaceTime, and I don't want him sending any more gifts like that. She let me know that they had a conversation about the rose because they saw it on TikTok, and the next thing she knows, he sent it to her. She said when she opened the package, she initially thought it was a bottle of perfume until she really looked at it. I haven't shared this info with my husband because I was afraid he would react negatively.
See, look, you were thinking.
And want to go in on her and her boyfriend. So with all that being said, Gia and Envy, how would you respond to this discovery? Please remember to keep me anonymous. Thank you both, and I look forward to hearing your feedback.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
I think she did the right thing.
Which was?
I love that she paused to gather herself before she revisited the conversation, because that's so shocking that it takes time to get your thoughts together, to figure out how you feel about it, and then to come back and revisit it with your child. So I love that she did that. And I love that she told her that you're not in trouble. I'm not disappointed in you. Having those feelings are normal. I just don't want you to do it on FaceTime with him because they've never met. They're not in a sexual relationship as yet. So you don't want to share those parts of you, those parts of your body with someone that you're not attached to as yet. That's someone that's not your boyfriend. And that's if you're even okay with your child being any kind of sexual with anybody at that age. Full transparency, we became sexual at 16 and 17. Mm-hmm. Not sex yet, but sexual, right? So I think that she was very in tune with what's actually going on with teenagers. And she expressed what she thought her daughter should and shouldn't do effectively. I think she handled that great.
Well, one thing I would say is you tell your daughter never to do anything on FaceTime. I don't care if they've been dating for a month, a year, 2 years, or 3 years. Not until they are actually probably married. And the reason for that is you just don't know who you're dealing with, right? He could be, the sweetest person in the world.
And
he could be the nicest person.
Switch.
Yeah, but he might tape it and then he might screen record it. And then one day when they break up and he's upset and she has a new man, he decides he wants to put that out. So I would tell her never to record that on FaceTime. Also, I would say as a mom and dad, if we were in that situation, I would try to do my homework as much as possible on the young man. You guys never met him. So really, you guys are just pretty much listening to what he says to you guys, right? He says he's inexperienced. Okay, he said it over the phone to your daughter, but we don't know if that's true. He said he's never kissed somebody before. We don't know if that's true. We just don't know. And not to say that the young man is lying, but I take everybody that comes to my daughter as a liar at first. And then they have to prove me right, right?
Prove you wrong.
No, prove me wrong. Mm-hmm. And the reason I say that is because you just never know what their intentions are.
It could just be game.
It could
basically.
It could just be game, or it could be very genuine and not game.
The point is you don't know.
Correct.
Yeah.
But the fact that he actually sent her a rose, you would have to look at it two ways, right? One of the ways that you could look at it is maybe it's something on TikTok. It is, I'm sure, big on TikTok. It seems like it's big online. He seen it,
They probably had a conversation about it.
And maybe he said, I'm going to send it to her as a gift, but maybe not, because she said she thought it was a bottle of perfume. But
he might have thought that it was thoughtful because they saw it. They talked about it. He's not there.
Yeah,
He's not there.
But they never had sex. And at age 16, if I just send you a dildo out the blue and you open it up and there's a big pink dildo, it still does the same thing. You're gonna be like, what the hell? We're not even in that type of relationship yet that you would send me a dildo.
You know something? I would love to jump on that bandwagon and say, yeah, you're right. But I don't know that. I wouldn't jump to that conclusion.
It's a dildo at the end of the day.
It's not though. It's not. The rose is, in case you aren't familiar with it, it's this big. Literally, it might be 2.5 inches by 2 inches.
It's a masturbation tool.
It's a masturbation tool, but it's tiny and it is in fact cute. It's not as, upon looking at it, it's not as off-putting as an actual, I don't even like to say that word.
A dildo. It has a tail though.
No, it doesn't.
Oh.
It does. The proper one doesn't. The one that I don't like has a tail and then it's connected to a tiny imitation peen. I don't like that one. The one I'm talking about, I could literally put on my vanity and it'll sit there and just look cute and adorable. It looks cute and adorable.
Yeah.
My point is, yes, they're both used for the same purpose, end result wise, right? But I would be off put if a boy that I was just starting to talk to sent me, say it.
A dildo.
Right. I just don't like the word.
Dildo.
Stop it. But if he sent me a rose just based on its appearance, I wouldn't be that off put.
But the thing is, to send somebody that, you have to be comfortable enough to send that.
And maybe they are.
Or it could be a setup to see him or trying to get something. And I'm not saying the young man is that way, but as parents, you always have to look at it from that angle, right? You don't want to be too trusting. The fact that he had the balls or the gall to actually send her a masturbation tool would make me feel a little way. They've never met. This is a long distance relationship. They've never kissed. They've never had an experience where it would be, in my opinion, comfortable enough to send that. So the fact that he sent that, I would try to get to the bottom of why. Maybe, ask your daughter, well, ask him why he sent that. And, she said, oh, because they were talking about it. But did you expect me to use it and send you a video? Like, why? Like, get to the bottom of why he's sending that. I just find that to be a little odd. Or I could be a little wrong and be a defensive father and be like, maybe they were having a conversation and they talked about it. They seen it. It was a funny video. And he was like, you know what? I'm going to send you one. Then it could be a little harmless maybe. But I would try to get to the bottom of it because I'm always extra protective of my girls. And that's the reason, because you just don't know who's out there. This guy could be telling the truth or he could be lying. He could be spitting game. He could have 8 girlfriends. He could have had a past that we don't know about. And the difficult thing about it is he's a long distance relationship. So for instance, if my 16-year-old is dating a high school student, because that's high school, 16, at least you can find out a little bit about the boy, right? Because he's in your town or he's in a close town. He knows somebody that you know. You can go on Instagram. You can ask somebody around who's his parents and things. You can ask and get a little information about things. When any of our kids were dating to somebody or talking to somebody around town, we found out information about them because they're local. Yeah. This kid could be in Brooklyn and we don't know anything about him because he could portray to be who he says he is, but not necessarily who he is.
I just feel that on face value, it seems wild.
It does.
Right?
It does.
You hear the stories like, oh, they never met. He sent her a
masturbation tool.
Okay.
A dildo.
He sent her a masturbation tool. And it sounds wild, right? Like, but when you sit back and think about it, the only wild thing that I think is going on is the fact that he had the gumption to send it to her house.
And I wondered what age he is.
Yeah.
Because she's 16, turning 17. Is he 18? Is he a lot older? Is he a
however
lot
old he is, he sent it to her house, which seems a little brazen. Like if you sent that to my house at that age, I would kind of feel like you're a wild boy. Yeah. My mom could have opened it. My dad could have opened it. And that could have been the end of everything.
And not only that.
That just seems very brazen. I'm more concerned with that. The kid had to
pay for it.
But the truth of the matter is that 16-year-olds are having sex.
Right.
Unfortunately, 13-year-olds are having sex. 14-year-olds are having sex. But 16-year-olds are absolutely having sex. Maybe not your 16-year-old, maybe not my 16-year-old, but The overarching idea is that 16-year-olds are having sex. 16-year-olds are masturbating. Boys, girls, absolutely, positively. If you think your 16-year-old girl is not masturbating while she's laying in bed at night on some nights, your head's in the clouds. They may have talked about it.
Mhm.
I don't know how long they've been communicating, but it's true. They may have been talking about it,
Mhm.
and it might have gotten to that conversation. And he was silly enough to send it to her house.
Mhm.
I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. I really don't. I would prefer if he didn't do it,
Mhm.
but it's not the worst thing in the world. And I wouldn't write the kid off because of that. Now, he sent her,
Dildo.
yes. Then it might sound a little contradictory, but that it's a phallic shaped device. Like
Mhm.
it seems a little bit more disrespectful for not having been with you, but the rose it's cute. It doesn't give the same feeling to me.
Let me ask you a
You know
question.
what I mean?
So at what age do you feel like a parent should still be able to go through the daughter's cell phone? Because at this point, I would want to go through the cell phone to see what the text messages are like. And I know people will be like, oh, that's evading her privacy, but she's 16. Is that evading her privacy? Do y'all have the trust? But I would want to know
I like that
what
you
he's
asked that
saying
question.
because maybe, he's saying some things that maybe she's not aware of, or he's using terms that he's trying to hook her on. So at what age is it a problem?
I think that it's situation driven. I think
Well, the situation.
in this situation, I don't think that she should go through her phone. To answer your first question, which was just a general question, I think you can go through your kids' phones until they're 18, personally. I think that you have every right. And if there's something about your child that warrants you doing so, then I think that you have every right to do it. Personally, I wouldn't invade my children's privacy unless my reason was truly warranted. And in this situation, since her daughter told her the truth and was transparent about it, I would trust my daughter. If I was worried about her being led down a wrong path or being easily influenced or falling for game, I would sit down and have a conversation with my daughter, educating her about that. A chill conversation where, babes, this is a safe space. Like, let's grab some snacks, let's get a blanket, let's snuggle deep into this couch, and let's have a little girl talk. And I love the way that I'm not upset with you, I'm not disappointed in you. That for me is perfect because that's how you let your child know that you're not too old, you're not outdated, you're not out of touch, you know what's going on. You're not going to just jump on something negative because it seems negative. And that's why her stepping away to gather her thoughts was fantastic. She might have felt upset in the moment and said, let me separate myself from this situation and give myself a moment to breathe and then come back. Because when you came back, you handled it the right way because that creates trust between you and your daughter if you didn't already have it. And if you did have it, it just strengthens that trust. It's like, wow, my mom didn't jump down my throat and I'm not in trouble. And she asked me questions. And then what did you get in return? She answered you honestly. Because she could have lied. She could have said she bought it because she didn't want to get her boyfriend in trouble or for you to say, oh, well, you can't see him anymore. No, she told you the truth. And since the two of you are having a truthful exchange and a truthful relationship, I feel as though you can trust her. Don't ruin that by going through her phone and getting caught or going through her phone and seeing something and then approaching her about it and then her saying like, dang, now I got to get a second phone. The next thing you know, the boyfriend's sending a second phone to her best friend. Like, I don't think it's necessary. Now, had she done something foul, or had she done something to lose your trust and you felt that it was necessary, then by all means. But I don't think that this situation warrants it.
I'm different. I go through all my kids' phones. You don't have to tell them that you're going through your kid's phone. I'll grab
not the older ones.
I mean, she's 22, so I mean,
Yeah,
she does
so
what she wants to do. And
You don't
Logan
go through Logan's phone.
He's damn
20.
near 21. But 16, 17, 15, 14, yes, I go through my kids' phone. Now, I don't tell them, oh, let me see your phone. I'm going to go through them. It
He's
don't.
just sneaky about it.
Yeah, just be sneaky about it. Be like, you know what, my
So
phone
sneaky
dead.
that I didn't know.
Yeah, but let me see your phone for a second.
But
My
he's a
phone
creep,
died.
though. You know, he watches us on the cameras all day long.
I do. Um,
Very creepy.
I don't care. So like what I would say is, hey, my phone died. Let me see your phone. Let me just make a phone call. And then when you make the phone call, just walk out the room. Walk back in the room so it doesn't seem like you're hiding. Walk back out the room, check. Because it's simple.
Meanwhile, you're sitting in the closet with the door locked. Like,
Absolutely. Or when they go to sleep, go in there, take the phone. It's simple things. And the reason I say that is because so many times parents miss the signs of something that their daughter is doing or that their son is doing that could have been stopped, that could have been prevented. And a lot of times we say, oh no, my kid would never, or my son would never, my daughter would never.
Mhm.
And a lot of times that's true. But sometimes we make bad decisions. And the purpose of having parents is to make sure that they're protected. Now, some of these bad decisions can affect them for the rest of their lives. And sometimes kids don't think that way. I would rather them be mad at me for going through their phone to stop something that could have hurt them 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, 5 years down the line, 2 years from down the line, than to my kids being mad at me. That is just me. But that's when it comes to good cop, bad cop. I know if I ever take my kid's phone and my kids get mad at me, I know they still got mom and mom's still going to be the good cop. Dad'll always be the bad cop. And I'm fine with that because I know my position and I know what I'm looking for.
Mm.
I know if I do find something, I'll be like, babe, this is what I find. And then I let Gia take care of it and have those conversations. But I'm going to check the phone. I'm going to walk in their room when they're in school just to look around. I'm going to open up their book bags. I do that now. And not because I'm looking for anything, but just in case. I just hear so many stories of kids doing something on social media and their parents finding out.
and their parents being shocked because they thought that their child would never.
Correct. Or kids parents finding stuff in their kids' book bag that they had no clue, whether it was drugs or weapons or whatever it may be. And I want to prevent it and stop it before it goes any further. If they want to call me a mean dad, a bad dad, a stalking dad, a creepy dad, I don't care. My goal is to make sure that I get you to a level where you get out of college, you graduate, and you're a great human being and you're protected. And whatever it takes for dad to do that, I am going to do.
Well, I guess that's where you and I are different. And I understand everything that you're saying. I respect it and I appreciate it. And I don't think you're wrong. I think that this just is a matter of opinion and your parenting style. And I feel as though Madison and Logan were our guinea pigs. And we tried out our way of parenting on them. And it turned out great.
Yeah.
It turned out great.
I still go through our kids stuff.
Which kids?
I went through Logan's book bag yesterday. He left his book bag in the car. I opened it up, just looked to make sure, close it right back.
Such a creep.
I went through Madison's car the other day. I go in her middle box thing just to see, just in case.
You are like, that's a lot. But listen, no harm, no foul.
But I would tell him. I don't care. I
know.
I tell him. I don't care.
But
But
when you go through their phones, you sneak and go hide in the closet.
I mean, I don't go through Madison's phone now, even though I know.
No, the little ones.
Oh yeah, no, I don't have to sneak into the closet. I do it right in front of them. I look because they little. Madison, I still have Madison's code to her phone.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't. She's 22. I don't have to. But I still, just in case. I'm dad.
So our styles are different because with the older ones, I am positively reinforced to know that the way that we parent works. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Madison and Logan are very, very different. They are not alike. Different personalities, different everything. And we use the same method of parenting on both of them. And on both of them, it garnered the same result. Both of our kids look at us as their best friends. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? And we've spoken on the podcast before about friendship versus parenting and if those lines can be blurred and where they can intersect and crisscross, etc. So I do believe that as a parent, you can be a parent and assert respect and still have a friendly relationship with your child. And I feel as though if you have a relationship with your child where they tell you mostly everything, where if you can come and ask them a question and they're going to give you a solid, truthful answer, then I personally don't feel the need for all of the investigative work. There's no harm, no foul in it.
Mm-hmm.
for us to be armed with information, it's only beneficial to us to know so that we can further protect them. I just don't find the need. Because if I ask Logan a question, Logan's going to tell me a truthful answer. Logan's not going to lie to me. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because he knows that I'm a safe space. He knows that he's not going to be judged. He's only speaking to someone that has no other dog in that fight, but to help him. So it's very, very safe. I've never, not one time, had a situation with either one of those kids where I'm like, gosh, they weren't honest with me, or they didn't tell me the truth. And then there was a price to pay as a result of it. Anything I've ever asked them, I've gotten the answer that I needed. Do you know what I mean? So being that they turned out that way, I don't feel as though it's appropriate or necessary to remix it with the babies. And even now, the way that they talk to us and the things that they tell us, and I mean, they tell us their business. Like, sometimes I'm like shocked and appalled. Like, wow, I can't believe you're telling me this. Like, wow, you know, like most kids would keep it to themselves. So that's why I'm so impressed with the way that she handled it, because it's similar to the way that I would have handled it. I would take it a step further, being that, you know, you're asking, what would we do? I would take it a step further. And like I said, settle into a couch and have a long conversation with your 16-year-old, you know, further instill that trust, let her know that she can confide in you and that you will give her advice that will help her. And, you know, make it feel cool. You know what I mean? Like, make it feel like real, like be realistic. Like, I love that you didn't just jump on the, why would he do that bandwagon? And you shouldn't be playing with that. You shouldn't be using that, because that's unrealistic and out of touch. So,
yeah. So good luck. You hear two different sides of how you should handle it. Good luck. But I think that you should have a conversation on a side note with your husband. He doesn't know yet. I think you should let him know.
I know we're wrapping this topic, but do you think that she should tell her husband?
Absolutely. Because if I'm the husband and I find out later that you didn't tell me and you handled it on your own without having a discussion with me, it's going to be a problem.
I'm just processing that. I would tell you. I would tell you.
But I haven't.
I had to stop and think about it realistically for a moment, because would a daughter want her father to know that? Like, your mind shouldn't even venture into those places that she's using a sex toy.
But I would have enough respect for my wife where if you say, don't say anything, or I'm telling you it's in privacy.
And that's what I would do. I had to stop and think about it realistically.
I wouldn't say anything, but I would want to know.
And you wouldn't say anything. No, I know you wouldn't.
No, but I would want to know.
Right. Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
But you should definitely let him know.
Back on that.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's go to another email. That was a long one. All right. Now, this one, he says, or she says, I should say, hi, this was originally sent to Gia via DM. So, Envy, I sent this to her, not you, ha, 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 ha. Joking, it's for both of y'all. But for real, it was originally addressed to Gia. Hopefully, you're having a lovely day. You all made my week today when I finally realized the podcast is back and has been since April. How did I miss this? A couple of years ago, when it first started, listening to y'all's podcast was literally the highlight of my week. I adore the topics, communication, and jokes. Plus, I always learn something from each episode. Needless to say, I'm binging the new season. Gia, I've always admired your personality and honesty as a wife, and I want to ask you, how do you manage emotion or understand the relationship of your husband working with or spending periods of times with other women? Work-related, of course. That might have been a confusing question, so let me go backwards. I'm listening to the first episode of the new podcast, and you mentioned that Benz is Envy's work wife. That's a joke. And you asked... Is it? Yeah. And
she is.
She's more like a work sister, because she's somebody I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
No, there's a difference.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you the difference.
I've never heard of a work sister.
I'm going to tell you why. Because I go through Benz's phone too. Like, when Benz gives me her phone, I just scroll up to make sure there's no fuck niggas on there. And then when I don't see no fuck niggas, I give it back a phone.
But hold on. But she could also be a work wife. You go through my phone, I'm sure. Lie and say you don't.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I go through your phone all the time. Who cares?
I know you do. Go ahead.
Anyway, you mentioned that Benz is Envy's work wife, and you asked if he was jealous of her newly found love.
Did I? Oh, yes. Joking.
Yeah. I said I was. He called me today and checked me. Yo, I'm calling right now. You can have her back in 5 minutes. My question is not directly with Ben's, but how do you manage your emotions around envy working closely with other women? I thought at one time I was so fine with it that in my relationship, then I realized after having our twins, it bothers me. I'm not sure if it's purely insecurity or if it's something he might have done. No cheating, but I've always known my man to work with women. He used to sell, I thought he said he used to sell hoes. He says he used to sell shoes in the women's department at Neiman Marcus and has always had friends that are girls, which didn't bother me before. Then I had the twins and my hormones have taken a toll and I don't want to feel this way. So I work really hard, but sometimes I'm just annoyed. You are very reasonable and non-biased, and I'm hoping that you can shed light on your experience and how you move so gracefully.
Aw.
If you see this, thanks for reading my book because it was long.
Oh,
I don't know if I can say a name, but she didn't say don't say my name. Destiny.
hi, Destiny. And thank you for all the nice things that you said. I appreciate it. Where do I start? First of all, if you guys can't tell, I adore Benz. Like, I would give her a kidney if she needed one. Seriously, I would give her a kidney. She's an amazing person. Inside, shut up.
She's looking at me now. Good.
She's an amazing person, beautiful inside and out. And I just think so highly of her. And I feel as though we're blessed to have her in our lives. So there's that. I'm actually the one that pushed Rashawn to hire her. As he said a couple of podcasts ago, so you may already know, but he didn't want to hire Benz because we are friends. And if you don't recall from previous podcasts, she came into our lives because she was actually Logan's basketball coach. And we became acquainted, we became friendly, then we became friends. And she was looking for a change in her life. And I said, hey, have you ever thought of becoming maybe an executive assistant? And we discussed it many, many times. And when I felt good enough about it and her interest, I brought the idea to Rashawn. And Rashawn said, absolutely not, because he has a motto that he does not like to work with friends for many, many reasons. We don't need to get into that. You can probably imagine. But the fear is that working with someone that you like, lines get blurred and things can go off the rails and you can wind up losing that friendship. So he really didn't want to. And I pushed him. And I told him that I think it could be potentially one of the best decisions that he could make. And I just started singing all of her praises. And finally, he decided to give it a go. And I wasn't wrong. Aside from the fact that I love her, I trust both of them. It's as simple as that. I trust both of them. It's never even remotely crossed my mind that something unsavory could happen. So that's the relationship with Rashawn and Benz. As far as working with women, period, I don't have an issue with it whatsoever. And I think that I have to figure, as I'm talking, I have to figure out how I can articulate this so that it's received in the way that I feel it. I think I'm a bit of a strange bird. I don't experience feelings of jealousy. And I never really have. For some strange reason, I'm really just not built that way. I find it very, very easy to compliment other women. I enjoy finding the beauty in people, and I enjoy praising the beauty in other people. I feel as though when someone makes a commitment, it's important for them to respect that commitment. I respect the choice that I made by getting married. I knew what that meant then. I know what it means now. And I respect that. So I expect for my husband to do the same. He decided to marry me. He chose me. If he wants to unchoose me, he can do that. And if that's the choice that he makes, then I would have to be okay with that. But I don't believe in limiting someone's options. I don't believe in limiting what they're exposed to in hopes that they will continue to choose me. Like I said some time ago, I really honestly believe in letting a bird free. And if they come back to their cage every night, then their cage is where they belong and where they want to be. I believe in giving someone all of the options and having enough confidence in myself and who I am as a person and what I bring to our table, what I bring to our home, what I bring to my husband's life, to continue to be chosen, because marriage is choosing someone every single day, because you can easily unchoose somebody, right? So I want that to be his choice. I don't want to say, all right, well, I don't want you to work with women because I don't want you to be exposed to other women that may have something over me. I don't want you to go to the gym. I don't want you to do, because I want to limit you. I just don't subscribe to that. If he is out and he's in the world and he sees something that piques his interest that he wants, then come home and tell me that you unchoose me. And I will have to be okay with that. Will I think that is foul? Absolutely. But he's grown and I'm grown. And I believe in leaving it up to a person to respect the commitment and the choice that they made. So I think that that's the best way that I can describe why I'm not a jealous person. And if I'm being honest, I think pretty highly of myself. I do. And I hope that my husband thinks pretty highly of himself. And I always come back and express to him how highly I think of him, because I want him to think even more highly of himself. Because truth be told, I don't feel as though he gives himself enough credit. But I'm saying that to say that if you love me and you see everything that I have to offer, and yet and still you chose to be with somebody else, then that's where you belong. And we should not be together if that's the case. So I hope that helps you to understand where I'm coming from. And maybe it gives you a little bit of food for thought to explore where you want to come from. But I do understand the feeling, I do understand being somewhat jealous. I do understand being somewhat insecure because you're worried about what your partner is out in the world being exposed to. And the real concern is that you're thinking to yourself, damn, are they going to continue to choose me? And if I'm trying to figure out what I should tell you to kind of help with that, I think that you should tell your husband how you feel and maybe get to the bottom of why he's chosen you every single day up to the day that you have that conversation with him. Give him an opportunity to express to you why you're so special and why you're the one, and why you clearly, because you are his wife, why you clearly have something over all of the women that he could potentially be with, because there is a reason. For every married couple, that married person chose the person that they're going to be with for a reason, because they felt as though they were, at that point in time, that they were the single most important person in their life and they want to spend the rest of their lives with them. That is a huge decision. That's a big way to feel about somebody. And he felt that way about you. So if you're feeling insecure, maybe you kind of need to tap into why you were his choice. And then lean into that. Lean into that. I don't think that there's anything wrong with letting the person that you are with know that you're somewhat insecure about them. Because if they love you, then they're going to do everything they can to quell that insecurity, to positively reinforce you, to let you know that there's a reason and that reason is valid. And that can help your self-esteem and that can kind of lessen any reason that you would really have to feel jealousy. Everybody has a person, like a special, like a person, you know, and you're that man's person. So lean into that.
Now me, since you didn't ask me, I'm going to tell you anyway. All that she said was bullshit when it comes to me.
You have got to be kidding me.
I'm going to tell you why.
Hold on a minute. You think what I said was BS?
I'm going to tell you why. I am a jealous person.
Okay. All right.
That's straight.
Okay. So we're going to hear from you. So maybe you can speak on her behalf in a sense.
If my wife worked with a man as close as I work with Ben's, I would have a problem. If
he was a Benz? Even if he was the male version of a Benz?
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? If my wife worked with Benz, worked with a man the way I work with Benz, I would have a problem. People are built differently, and it is what it is. Me and Benz are like, I don't know, Batman and Robin. Like, you don't understand. Like, we're on
Batman doesn't sleep with Robin.
I know that. But Benz and myself, we're on the road for weeks. We're in the office for hours. We are, I mean, if I say Benz, I need you to get me outfits for the week. Benz will get me outfits from the shoe size to the sock size to underwear to shirts to pants to hats, and she will have it right. It is what it is, right? You are a better person than I am when it comes to insecurities and when it comes to who you are as a person. I'm not at that level, and I don't think I'll ever be at that level, and I'm fine with it. I understand, I know it, but it's how you handle it. Now, if you were in a situation where you had to, I wouldn't like it. It would probably bother me. It would burn the shit out of me. I would pop up. I would FaceTime. I would call. That is just me. That's who I am. That's who I've been as a person. There's just things that I can't shake. I can't sit here and be like, oh no, if you had you work with a person as close as you work with Benz, it would be okay. I would be all right. Y'all could do this and y'all could go do dinner and y'all go into the strip club, be safe, and y'all go in there, be safe. That's bullshit. I couldn't. And I'm not saying that, I respect Gia because she understands the business. She understands. She respects me. She trusts me. She respects Benz. She trusts Benz. It's cool.
I would trust you with anybody.
Right. If I go right now and I go to Houston and I go to the strip club, Area 29, I'm like, babe, I'm in Houston. I'm going to the club. Who you going with? Benz. Gia's going to be like, all right, y'all be safe. Call me when y'all get back. That's it. No questions asked. Not a thing. Me, if Gia says, I'm going to the club with Tommy tonight. We going to Area 29. What? We going where?
A strip club is naked women.
Nah, my nigga. We both going to the strip club. What you mean? I'm outside the hotel room right now. Oh, how'd you get here? Don't worry about how I got here. Or I got homies in Houston. Pick you up from the hotel and we take that's just me, and I don't know why.
That is something you would do. Pick you up from the hotel, take her to the club, her and Tommy. And don't let her out of your sight.
That is just me, and
yeah, that
doesn't make you a weak person. You're insecure in feelings. We all have feelings. Now it's how you act on those feelings. So the fact that this does make you funny, and I'm not gonna sit here and front. Your man is looking up women's dresses all day long, ma. It would make me feel away. And I'm not saying he's doing anything and you got to get over it. He's a shoe salesperson. You sit down and you're putting on shoes all day.
They don't do that anymore. What is wrong with you? Shoe salespeople do not put the shoe on the... Nobody... You know how many shoes I've bought? Nobody has put a shoe on my foot. You acted like this is Macy's circa 1984.
Oh,
What are you talking about?
take that back. So your man is not looking at women's punanis all day. But I was just saying, what? But I would feel a way too. All these beautiful women in all different styles and sizes and heights and this and that and body styles coming. Hey, can you have the shoe? Oh, you don't have a 9.5. Can you get me one? Sure. Because to be honest, selling more shoes is playing the game. If he's an asshole, I don't have no shoes now. Nobody's gonna go to him no more. So he has to be nice.
Do you think he has to be fun and flirty to be
I didn't say flirty.
Wait, hold on. Did he say that? Did she say he works at the shoe section?
And Neiman Marcus.
She specifically said the shoe section?
Women's shoes.
Women's shoes, okay.
Right? So when you go there, you have to be nice. You have to be you have to make people want to come back, right? Let's be honest. If you're standoffish, if you're an asshole, nobody's coming back. You're not gonna get nothing but old women with corns. But if you're nice and
because pretty girls don't have corns, apparently.
But if you're nice, hey, that outfit looks dope. Hey, yo, these shoes just came in gear. I thought about you. Do you want these shoes? That's what he's supposed to do, right? Because that's gonna make Gia feel special. And Gia gonna be like, yo, Tommy from Neiman Marcus just hit me and said these new shoes come in. They only got one pair. I need them. That's what makes his business do well. So he has to play the game. So I understand how you feel. Like Gia said, if you have trust in him, then you should be all right. But I'm not saying that, and people be like, oh, I'm not saying that you shouldn't pull up a Neiman Marcus every once in a while and not just come unannounced just to see if you're acting right. Ain't nothing wrong with that. It ain't nothing wrong with that. That's me. That's how I feel. But I'm insecure. And for people that are just watching the podcast, that's leaving comments, I've been this way since I was 16. It's not going to change. This is who I am. It's just I have to deal with it better.
You don't have any intention on dealing with it better. You're very good with the way that you are.
Damn.
Okay, so you understand her plight.
I do.
And she said that she thinks that it's gotten heightened since she's had
a couple hormones, baby. So
it can do that.
She probably had babies. Her body's out of whack and she doesn't feel as sexy as before. So she feels away. But you have to have trust. But I understand. And that's, I think, a natural feeling. It's just how you deal with it.
What would you say about people that are watching and saying that my way of handling my life as it pertains to this subject is naive?
It can be.
Explain.
No, I mean, it can be naive because it gives people the ability to do what they want to do, but also...
that's the operative word. What they want to do.
What they want to do.
You see, I'm glad you said that, right? Because we couldn't have planned that. To give people the opportunity to do what they want to do.
Correct.
I firmly believe that if the person that you're with wants to do that, that's exactly what they should be doing.
Right.
And they don't need to be with me.
I get that.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So I don't think it's about being naive.
Right.
I can see how someone will come to that conclusion. But when you really think about it, I don't want someone that decides to be with me because I'm controlling them to be with me because I think I'm better than that.
Okay.
And you should think you're better than that. You shouldn't want to...
Me or her?
I'm talking to her.
Oh, because you said...
And anyone who feels the same way, you're better than that. You're better than having to control someone to be with you.
You got to control.
That's what control is.
But I said,
limiting their exposure is controlling them.
You open the cage door and let somebody fly. I close the cage door, so you just fly in the cage.
We already know this, but do you disagree that if you open the cage door and they fly and they come back, then that shows that that's where they want to be?
Probably if they get lost, they can't come back.
Well, that doesn't really apply. That's not an appropriate analogy. Like getting lost isn't part of what we're trying to talk about.
Fly or get kidnapped.
That has nothing to do with what we're talking about. This isn't like a safety PSA.
Like, what are you
talking about?
Flying and chucking them, bang.
We're not talking about. We're just worried about if they fly out and mate with another bird in a tree. Like that's kind of what we're talking about.
Now they fly out and somebody takes them to do some weird stuff to them.
That's not what we're talking about. Can you stay on task?
That's why I close it and make sure they can't fly out without me.
Anyway, that's my response to anyone that thinks that. I just don't believe that I want to make someone be with me. I want it to be their choice.
All right. Well, good luck. Please fill us in. Keep us locked. Let us know how we
keep us locked in the cage.
No.
What'd you say?
But let us know how You can DM. Yeah, I'm gonna see it anyway. So you can DM. Doesn't matter. Time to get back here, though.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week. And I got to remind you guys, of course, my car show goes down August 17th, Meadowlands Expo Center in New Jersey. Indoor, outdoor, all types of cars. Kids 5 and under are free. So bring the family, please. All right. And I got to remind you guys, bring your kids, get free haircuts. We're going to have backpacks for kids and students. It's going to be a fun event. My family's going to be there. It's going to be a vibe, very sexy, very cool. And let's just have
It's
fun.
not going to be sexy. That's
is.
a lie. What's sexy about the car show?
We're going to be sexy. We're going to dress sexy. We're going to dress like we're going out.
I'm probably going to wear a Driving Dreams jersey.
Okay. Well, she's not going to be
It's not going
sexy.
to be
I'm gonna be
sexy.
sexy.
That's overkill.
You see this? Look. But we'll see.
It's going to be fun, though.
It will
It's going to be fun.
All right, guys. Well, we'll see you next week. I'm DJ Envy.
And I am Gia Casey.
And that was another edition of the KC Crew.
Toodles.